Lazy survivors, lazy bastards. Ideally, they want everybody to be hooked once and then everybody to be hooked again, right? That's not efficient, and that's not the way you play a PvP game. PvP games have never been about being kind to the opposition. If you want to get someone out the game, you fucking get them out the game. It's a fucking PvP game. It's player versus player. We're not trying to recreate the book here. I came from your YouTube channel, best decision I made. Inferior W, I appreciate you, man. I really put a lot of emphasis into YouTube so that we could help people, we could create some funny content, some interesting gameplay, help people out, you know, all that sort of stuff. And we've done a lot on it. And we have started to see a rise of people coming from YouTube and hanging out on Twitch. But I need a new mission, man. I've got to knuckle down on it. We've just busted past 4,200 subscribers, and I'm so proud and so appreciative of all that love and support recently. I want to get more of those gamers over here so that all of you guys can vibe and have a good time, right? Share your opinions. Come in here, be goofy. Tell me about your day. Tell me how it's going in DBD. What have you been doing? What are you looking forward to? Like, I've got that shit written down to a T, bro. I want to get the vibes rolling. It's ego. I straight up agree, yeah. I think one of the biggest problems with DBD is ego, you know? I think, like, look, put it this way, right? I don't like to talk shit about people. Like, usually I will only do that if somebody brings it to me. I think everybody's entitled to defend themselves. I think that's what you should do. You should always stick up for yourself. I think you have that right. Sometimes survivors, man, like, they will say the most heinous shit to you over a game, like just losing that game. It's just a normal pub game of DBD to them, right? It's nothing serious. Your ego is attached to your performance in DBD. If you do bad, that's like somebody like killing your family. Like, you can't justify losing in this game because that means you're a shit person and you're nothing, and you can't deal with that. So you have to, like, you know, you have to, like, call people out for it. And it's like, bro, you need to calm the fuck down. It's just a game. It's pixels at the end of the day, bro. Chill. God forbid you win as killer, eh? God forbid. Listen, it's okay. If survivors are trying to win, that's fine. But if the killer tries to win, Herbert the pervert's gonna come tickle your balls. Get your fat ass back here. It's only a problem when the killer kills, right? Hear me out. This is behavior, right? When a killer plays efficiently, tunneling, whatever, right? When a killer plays efficiently, they get nerfed. When survivors play efficiently and they rush gens, nothing happens. Whose side are the developers on? Let's not hide it. Let's not... What's the point in hiding it, right? Do you want me to give you another one? How many surveys in the past 3 surveys have they asked why killer players have uninstalled the game or had a bad time? I'll wait. Yeah, absolutely right, Inferior. 0, right? It's not speculation, right? Clearly Behaviour are pandering to the survivor side. It's not a myth, right? It's very true. And there is, and do you think that, like, be honest with me, chat, do you think there aren't any killer players whatsoever, right, that haven't uninstalled this game from getting gen rushed or BM'd at the exit gates or what the hell else, or told to off themselves in the end game? Are you telling me that killers do not uninstall this game? Like, for real. At the end of the day, you cannot ask these questions to one side and not ask them to the other, because that creates a bias, and that fuels the us versus them argument. It would be okay if they asked, but then they also included killers, right? Because that's fairness, right? We can't talk about balancing if you won't even speak to one half of the room. If the killer sees an opportunity, they should take it. I don't think we should be... At the end of the day, you can't focus on having fun if you're focusing on the things you can't do, and I think it just comes down to that. Variety killer content would be sick. It's something that I want to do. Obviously, I want to spearhead Vecna. I want Vecna to be the first, right? Because we've done so much for him now. I'd hate to just throw him away. I couldn't do that, man. I couldn't do it. And plus, we like I said, we've got over like nearly 4,000 subscribers on YouTube of late over the last few months, specifically from DBD and Vecna content, right? Like, if I just dropped Vecna now, I'd be doing such a disservice to, like, not only all the work I've put in, but all those people that cared to actually subscribe. Like, I can't just drop that. Like, there's so many people that like that content. But what I can do is keep Vecna content coming, right? Obviously, so I never, like, become rusty with him. I can always stay sharp with him. But gradually increase just a little bit of variety, right? Get that Dracula gameplay in there. Start uploading some Dracula gameplay videos to YouTube. Start uploading some Blight gameplay videos. Maybe even the odd, like, other little killer, right? the games won't start. If they nail Killer 2 hard, that's just basic, right? If there is no incentive to play Killer, then the majority of the Killer player base will either become Survivor mains or they'll uninstall the game, right? Or there's a third option. They'll all go play Blight. And then, like I said before, Behaviour will have a new problem on their hands because all Survivors will whine about is the fact that every game is Blight. Blight by daylight. That's it. And that's all through the developers. That's all their decision because they didn't listen to their community. Bro, they've been firing out costumes for Skull Merchant for the longest time now when they know that she's shit. Like, what are they doing? It's like, I want to look really good whilst this 4-man fucking gen rush me to death and I get one hook all game. Yeah. That's the way. Yeah. Yeah, I just want to look good whilst I lose. Yeah, I got you. Yeah, man, honestly, like, if Survivors... If 4 Survivors, right, are on comms, right, and they've all got Decisive Strike, one of them's got Shoulder the Burden, the other one's got Deliverance, another person's got DH, Resurgence, right, if you add all these together, right, and they're comming, you're fucked. It's as simple as that. You're fucked. Like... You're not the power role anymore, right? You're the one that's fighting tooth and nail to win that game, not them, right? Those kind of games are what killers hate the most because you feel like you've gone into a game that you never even had a chance of winning. Basically, any killer like that requires a bit of extra work to do something will be massively affected. If these changes come from the PTB, there's one thing all us killer players can stand by and admit, and it's that all of us have been fucked in the ass. Right? Because there's not one killer that... It even affects Blight, bro. It actually affects Blight. Granted, not as much, but it affects every single killer in this game if these changes go through. It's going to hurt every single one. There's not one killer that's going to be the exact same after this. People will 4-stack and be toxic, be mean, be scummy, that's okay, but a killer is slugging, unacceptable. Exactly. And you've got to think, who's going to feel worse, right? Let me be honest with you guys. If you lose a game of DBD, if you're playing Survivor and you get tunneled out and 2 gens have popped and that's it and you're dead, or even if it's like 1 gen's popped but you're out the game, it sucks, yeah, but it's like, okay, whatever. Like, I'm off to my next game. It don't matter. But if you get stomped by a 4-man and you're getting bullied, bro, like, let me tell you something. Losing against that when you're on your own as killer feels way more oppressive than just getting targeted out in, like, a solo queue lobby playing Survivor. That's why people suffer with killer anxiety, man. You've got people loading this game up, sitting in the main menu, wanting to play killer, but they daren't click it because their stomach is twisting and they're like, bro, but, like, do I really want to sweat my dick off? And what if the Survivors are, like, BMing me and being toxic and I get rat? Like, bro! And then you've got the Survivor players that all just fucking jump in and don't care. It's like, how are we not talking about this behavior? How are we pretending that the Survivors deserve all this attention when killer players genuinely are scared to play the game because of all these reasons, bro? Like, and what are you supposed to do? Like, I get it. Like, yeah, you could go learn Blight. I want to learn Blight. Maybe because it's fun too, but like also because you can't just say to everybody like, oh, you're an unknown main. You're a Myers main. You're a pig main. You're a trapper main. Okay, well, if you want a chance at winning, then you've got to play Blight, right? There you go, there's the answer. And it's like, I don't think that is the answer because that's unfair, bro. Like, imagine somebody only came to DBD to play DBD because they love Michael Myers, right? Yeah, maybe they liked a few other things after getting used to it, but like, they're a Myers main. They love their boy Myers, right? That's why they look forward to opening DBD. And you just say to them, yeah, you got to drop him, bro. You got to play Blight. Do you really think that person's going to be motivated to learn and play Blight when they're only really in it for Myers? Like, so you're saying just because your main is a weaker killer, they have to just suck it up and just lose almost every game because behavior say so? I disagree. I think they're being so unfair to one side of their core audience. And like, yeah, like, look, yeah, like this basically represents me as a whole. I always play Survivor off stream. I always play a ton of Survivor. I do play more killer. I'm probably 60-70 killer, 30-40 Survivor, right? In terms of ratio and stuff, but like, I play Survivor, I see it, but like, Survivors do complain about a load of shit. It's like, I actually wouldn't mind playing Ghostface a little bit more. I think it'd be nice, it'd be a bit of fun, right? It'd be just a different experience, but I know for a fact I am gonna have to lock the fuck in. And what if I don't want to? But then survivors say, well, I don't want to sweat either. I don't want to get tunneled out at 5 gens. Can't you help me, Behaviour? And Behaviour come in and they're like, oh, yeah, come here, little baby survivor. Yeah, I'm going to help you. Here's 3 second chances. Here's some base kit. Here's some endurance. Oh, we're going to put your elusive on now and give you 30 seconds of wall hacks. Yeah, there you go. Mr. Killer. Oh, you've got performance anxiety. Go get Viagra, you bastard. Get off. Uninstall the game. That's basically all they're saying, bro. Like, Behaviour, what are you smoking? Like what actually happens, bro? I've said it before. It's simple math, right? You need 1 killer for 1 game of Dead by Daylight to start, right? 1 killer equals 4 survivors, right? Okay, if you don't have that 1 killer, those 4 survivors don't have a game, right? So if you've got 1,000 killers waiting for a game, that means there's 4,000 survivors, right? What happens if 900 of those killers uninstall the game because they've had enough? And there's only 100 killers left. Where do all those thousands of survivors go? Fucking nowhere, bro. Because there's no Dead by Daylight anymore because you've cock-blocked your fucking community so much that the killers decided that enough is enough. Like, you really need your killer player base. You really need killers, bro. What happens? What happens if a survivor DCs? You get a bot. What happens if a killer DCs? The game ends. Do you know why? Because you need the killer more than you need the survivors. If the killer DCs, the game fucking ends, bro. It's done. It's over. If a survivor DCs, the game carries on. And you're smoking your killer players like nothing. And I think a lot of my judgment comes from the experience I've had on both sides. Yes, I know what it's like to sweat as killer. Yes, I know what it's like to get tunneled as survivor. But do you want to know what's funny? I didn't download Dead by Daylight to play Gen Simulator. I actually downloaded Dead by Daylight because I wanted to be scared. I wanted to be scared and I wanted to be in a horror universe where there's so many cool characters, I'm just going to get lost, right? Lost in the fog, you get it? Right? And at first I was scared. And then I started to learn to not be scared, right? Because you get used to it. You're like, oh, I know who Terror Radius that is. I know who that is, right? I got started off as a survivor. And then, do you know when I used to get tunneled, chat? Do you know at the very beginning, right, when I was learning DBD, when I got tunneled, I used to get a little bit angry about it, right? I used to get a little bit pissed off. Hello, Crowny. But do you want to know what I quickly did? I realized that I was getting nowhere and that I couldn't stop the way people were playing and the way people wanted to play. And that was like rule 101. And instead, I saw it as an opportunity. So every time I got tunneled, I was enjoying chase, right? I was in chase. I was having the most fun part of DBD. I was being chased by this horrible killer, right? I wasn't sat there just spamming my space bar, hitting skill checks on a fucking gen, watching it slowly turn, right? I was in chase and I had chase music and I was getting better. And the more I got tunneled, the better I got at looking after myself in Survivor. I learned check spots. I learned shift tech. I learned how to, you know, watch for the killer's red stain. Are they likely to mind game? Are they going to try and 50-50? It improved my survivability by actually being tunneled. It allowed me to get better, right? And from what I've learned, and I don't hold it against killers anymore. If I get tunneled and I'm playing passively or casually offline and I get tunneled, I don't get mad because I'm just like, bro, this killer's just locked in. They're trying to play very efficiently. It's not personal. I don't give a shit. Right? I don't give a shit. I'm not going to give them any shit in the endgame chat. I'm just going to say, GG, go to my next game. It don't matter, bro. It's not that serious. But when I play killer and I'm tunneling, I now don't care either because I know it's not personal. So it's improved me so much. I wish more people would play both sides of the game and actually try and be a bit more understanding. And the biggest thing Behaviour need to do right now is stop trying sticky plaster bollocks and actually get to the root cause of why killers feel compelled to tunnel, right? They tunnel because the game can go so damn fast, bro. We need to get a hold of the gen speeds. We need to get rid of those toolboxes and change those. We need to get some kind of different pacing foundation. If there's one thing that's guaranteed to be in every single game of Dead by Daylight, it's a number of generators that need fixing. Perks can be different. Playstyles can be different, the killer can be different, the map can be different, but if there's one thing that's there every game, it's the gens. They're the ones that should be setting the pace of the game, and we shouldn't be bringing things in that can nuke gens in 2.5 minutes. Which is true, it can happen. Refined, make a video of the last 40 minutes and have it go mainstream. You reckon, meme? Do you reckon? I just try and talk facts, right? So, from me being tunneled playing Survivor, I got better, right? And do you want to know the thing I've learned, chat? The survivors that complain about tunneling are the ones that don't care. to get better at the game. They just want the game given to them. They want as much life support as possible. They do, bro. They do. At some point, like, they will rename the killer to the entertainer. If you want to get someone out, you should have the freedom in your ability to tunnel someone to do it. And if that survivor's any good at you know, resisting your tunnel, then they will give you a run for your money. That's how it is, bro. It's not our fault as killers if you can't hold chase for any longer than 15 seconds because you're dog shit. Just get better at the game. Put more time in. Actually look at YouTube. Look at guides. Look at A-Run. They've got loads of guides out on how to be a better survivor. Oh, wait, you're not going to do that because you can't be fucking arsed. You just want the devs to give it to you for free. Finally, we got to the conclusion. Lazy survivors. Lazy bastards. We've literally got Mr. Potato Head. I absolutely agree, by the way, Dross. I appreciate you. We've got Mr. Tater Head out here giving 8-hour fucking long videos on YouTube on how to loop every main building on every map, bro. Like, this guy is a fucking resourcepedia. This guy is out there giving out all the hints and tips that everybody needs to be a good survivor. It's all there, bro. We've seen it recently, too. If survivors DC... that makes the kill rates go up. If survivors don't DC and they just stay in the game longer, the kill rates go down. Why? Because it's just harder if more people are in the game and they're just not doing anything else other than gens, right? That's the problem. If survivors actually started to learn a little bit and they realized how strong their side is, the kill rates would go down even more, bro. I've got a better idea, right? Have a tiny little soft cap for tunneling, right? But the second you get to 3 gens, all tunneling can be accepted. Go wild, bro. Like, you want a little bit of anti-tunnel? Fine. Right? Have a bit of anti-tunnel. You can get... You could juggle your first 2 survivors, right? If it's one of those games where they gen rush you and you go down to 3 gens after a short amount of time, all the anti-tunneling disables because clearly it's fixed the problem that Behaviour are trying to fix, right? They say that the reason this has to be done is because people deserve the right to play a game, even though killers can get gen rushed in 3 minutes and the game's over, so what about the killer's right to play the game? Yeah, whatever, fuck killers, basically, Behaviour. But... if the survivors have been alive long enough to do 2 generators, which also meant that 2 other people had to have been in chase, then everybody started to play the game. They've had a good few minutes in the game. The game's clearly progressing. Why can't the killer then start tunneling with no repercussions? Like, that's the minimum I'd settle for, bro. Because, like, if survivors come in and gen rush you, all the limits go off, right? Because gens are always a passive, functioning, always existing thing. Perks aren't guaranteed. It almost sounds ridiculous, to be honest. If the killer kills a survivor, they get nerfed. If a survivor rushes a generator, they get out quicker, nothing happens. It's in black and white, innit, chat? It's in black and white. We don't even need to... there's no myth. There's no myth. And we've just nearly finished a quality of life year inside of another quality of life initiative. Behaviour, if you fuck I'll say this now, if you fuck killers to the point where they uninstall this game, you will be very, very fucking lucky if they decide to come back when you suddenly realise how much trouble you're in and you start rebuffing killers and giving them decent stuff again. You will be very lucky if they decide to come back and give you the time because you don't deserve it.